Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Neet. She is a global independent artist. Her work blends cultural expression with the power of voice. And with her, we'll learn from her how she transforms personal stories into universal expression, using creativity to honor truth, reclaim identity, and stay grounded under pressure. Welcome to the show, Neet.
Thank you so much, Sasrika. Sawadika. Hello, everybody. I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Neet, once again. And I'm
Thank
sure
you so
not
much.
just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about your journey, we'll talk about music, we'll talk about identity, and we'll talk about resilience and much more. But before that, let's talk a bit about your journey, your background, your story, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Yes. So I'm Punjabi, I'm Sikh, but I was born and raised in Thailand. So I'm basically like the fourth, fifth generation there in Thailand already. So I'm very grounded in my roots, although, I do have the influence from the Thai culture as well. So I do my is global because first of all, music I think is universal as it is. So when it comes to my music, I try to blend different sounds together. I started doing music from before I came to New York when I was back home in Thailand, during a time where it was still hard for Indian Punjabi girls to express themselves through music or through any form of art. So I felt like the importance that I needed to express myself that way and to show the women that it's okay for us to express ourselves through art. And that's how my journey started. I had a group called Freedom of Expression. And then I felt like I wanted to come here and continue that journey. And with that came time and life. And, with that also comes stories and lyrics. So that's where the song Rise came from. My journey here in America and, what I went through and how I overcame a lot of obstructions in my life and identity issues and this and that and relocating and finding myself again, which was the most important part, and why Rise is the way it is about empowerment and how it's okay to always come back to yourself, find yourself, and ground yourself again.
Absolutely, absolutely neat. So, from with Indian roots, from Thailand upbringing, and then to
Yes,
the US. So,
correct.
to understand it better for the world, Neet, who is Neet today? How does she see herself? How does she want? She wants to be identified with so many. How did she find her own identity? Help us understand the world, know you better.
That's a great question. That was definitely not an overnight process. I can tell you right now, I am still learning about myself every day. Learning to love myself, learning who I am, where I belong here in this world. And music has helped me do that because that's my way of expressing myself. And I like to align myself with being true to myself, my music being honest about who I am. I would love to be known for speaking the truth, storytelling about things that really happen in today's world, in life, things that can change for the better, things that will empower people, things that will help the world be a better place through different ways. So I would definitely like to be known for that, for like helping people, empower them and making them stronger through the way I saw it through music, but helping them in their own way to find their identity, which I think is an ongoing process.
Absolutely, absolutely, Neat. So we'll come to your music also, but to understand about identity, how
Yes.
did you create your identity or deal with the identity, so-called identity, especially when you are transitioning from one place to another, cultures to another culture. Amidst all these things, one can have a lot of questions to themselves. How did you find that resilience in you? How did you find what will help you, move forward and carve a place out in this world? How did
Mm.
you look at yourself? Did you look at your music? Did you look at your identity overhaul? Did you look at your resilience? Did you look at your mental mindset? So that I
Yeah.
want to understand, a lot of people, not only who are transitioning from one culture to another, to one place to, but also within themselves, when they are transitioning to one, doing one thing to another, and since their last job was that identity, they start questioning themselves, start losing that identity, and think that their life is over. That is why I ask this, multifaceted question, but you are an expert. You will be able to answer them at your own pace.
Yes, that is like, I love the way you asked that question because that's actually very deep. I can definitely tell you, growing up as an Indian in Thailand, it was very, very weird because, see, the Thais would never like, of course we were accepted, we were Thai, but always looked at as Indians, right? And then the Indians would look at us as Thais. I'm talking about like Indian people from India, right? So I also went to boarding school in India when I was 9, 10 years old. But that's how I knew, like, I felt out of place, even though I'm Indian by blood. But for some reason, I was still called a Thai when I was over there. But when I'm back home in Thailand, I'm an Indian. So I did struggle with that quite a bit. Um, I did not know how to find my way. I remember listening to music, and that's how I slowly found that some lyrics, they touched my heart and they helped me escape into a world where I was like, who am I? How do I bounce in between these two? And the answer really, again, lies within yourself, because you can carve an identity out from yourself, and you don't have to specify yourself into a box. This is where people stress themselves over identity crisis. Really, you don't have to specify and label everything into a box. You can just be anybody, whoever you want. Like me, I'm not Thai, I'm not Indian, I'm both. So that is my identity. So, like, when I come here to America, like, people still look at me and they're like, oh, but she speaks Thai and this and that. But at the same time, that's my identity. So you hold who you are. That's how I found myself. Like that, I did not have to pick either side or where I belong. I could be both. And that's how I think I found my resilience through that. Identity can be built through self. That's where it goes back deep to, you have to know who you are. And people say love yourself and this and that. That's actually a very deep thing to go into, because like I said, me myself, I am still learning about myself today. And as you grow older, obviously, like, wisdom, experience and this and that, so with that comes little tweaks in your life, and then you learn to adjust. And like I said, like, identity, it can be built throughout a lifetime. Today I'm this person, but let me tell you, 10 years ago I was not this person. I was a completely different person than who I am today. So that's also another way to look at it. It's not one specific thing. It could be like a always growing, always evolving thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very well answered, Neet. Indeed, very well. It will help a lot of people get, answers to at least some of their questions that they are dealing with about identity. But,
That's
I'll come to the music for the audience after this question, just to understand it, that one can move from one place to another. Slight bit of, transitioning from that identity to another culture, like you are in the US. But then
yes.
looking back, we are all emotional beings. We never forget the places where we have grown up or are born or where our roots are.
Hmm.
How do you move away from such places and still decide what way to establish your identity with the same people, with the same, house or land or anywhere else? How did do you maintain your identity looking back at India or Thailand?
Well, as an Indian, you know how our family unit, how it is already. So my parents keep me very grounded. They are the ones that, they remind me of what home is. And growing up, they had instilled in me very strong roots, very strong foundations. So no matter where I go, I still have that, same mannerism, same thinking, same like kind of mentality that follows me around. And speaking to my parents consistently, like I go to Gurdwara, like I keep myself grounded and I know where I come from and who I am. And I love it. I don't forget it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
How did music happen? Did you choose music or music chose you, Neet?
Definitely music chose me. Because growing up, I really didn't think that I was like, oh, a singer. And I used to sing in the Gurdwara, like the harmonium. But other than that, I didn't think about this. But like when I told you earlier that I started listening to music and the lyrics started to slowly sink into me, and I started to feel like, okay, that's a way for me to express myself. And that's how I slowly, one day I just like wrote a song. I was just sitting with a friend and he played a beat and I just wrote a song. I just went with it, whatever was in my heart. And I didn't even know that I had that in me to do that. So from that day onwards, I felt like that was a piece of me that I could do. And that's how I feel like music found its way to me. And I actually even got lost because, life happened when I came to the United States. Um, and I lost my way and my identity, all of that. And then slowly, slowly, when I felt helpless and I didn't know myself anymore, I didn't know what to do. And the only thing I went back to was my music. Of course, other than like my family and stuff to keep me grounded, I went back to my music where I wrote Rise with my producer. And it was just a story. I was like, how do I, let this out of what happened to me? And how do I tell this story? So that's how I ended back up again in music. So yeah, music found its way to me again.
Absolutely. So, what is this your music all about? Who is your audience? How did you decide on your music? How do you decide on your music now? And how do you target? Who is your target audience? Is it, any particular community or place, or is it global? You are a global, artist, independent artist, but to understand it better, from that cultural aspect also.
Of course. So my music, like I said before, comes from a real place, right? So I'm not specifically going to say that I have a target or whatever. I wish I could reach anybody that, searches for the same thing, like the truth, or like even some songs will have happiness, just life. So I feel like music also carries energy. And I feel that the people that will feel the energy that comes through my songs will, they will come towards my music themselves, but if we want to talk about targeting, the only way I could look at that would be that I would like, for example, this song Rise, for women, to hear it and feel empowered and rise up against, like different forms of, abuse or control or, things like that. So, yeah, that would be maybe a little bit of the target. But then when you look at it, I'm afraid to use that word for just a specific group because men also go through that, so it's like it could be for anybody that their heart is beating on that tune, anybody that is feeling that energy, and they will like come towards. I feel like, it will connect automatically. Music is so universal that, people will feel it, and whoever feel it, they will, I think, come towards it naturally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Neat. What is it that you want to do with your music? Whenever you create any piece of music, we'll come to the rise also, but whenever you create any piece of music, what goes in your mind? I want to understand your creative process for the audience.
I am so grateful that you asked me this question because I do have like something behind it that I want to do. I want to be able to use my voice to help people. I know what it's like to feel helpless or to lose your identity and to not be heard. So, like this doing music thing is not like, oh, I want to hit the charts and it's for the next hit. No, it's a part of me telling my story. And then maybe one day, because my voice is heard, I can use that to let other people's voices be heard too. And I could do something to help other people. And that's exactly how I want to use my music, towards doing something, to let other people's voices be heard, because there's so many people that are going through so many things that they can't express or they can't fight. They don't have the resources, they don't have the backing, they don't have the platform, and so that I am so blessed to have a platform to do that, and I want to use that to help do anything to make things better, to empower, to advocate. Yeah, that's how I want to use my music.
Absolutely, Neet. You talked about a band, freedom, if I heard correctly before the show. Tell us about, how about how do you do that? You perform only in the US? Have you performed in Thailand? Have you also performed in India or visited India? Tell us about that. How are you using music and performance to connect with all these places?
Yeah, of course. So, yes, I did perform in Thailand before I came here with my group for Freedom of Expression. And when I came here, I did do a few performances here in New York. But right now, I'm not planning to do any shows for the next month or two. I finish my master's degree next month, and then I will think about traveling around the US. I have not been lucky enough to do a show in India yet, but it's definitely a place I want to go to. I know that it's going to be so fun. My second single that's dropping on tomorrow on all platforms, it's like a Punjabi tune also. So I know that my people are going to love it. Other than that, I want to go to other places also. The UK, Canada also has a lot of Indian population there. So I definitely want to travel to different spots after I maybe do the US this year first. We'll see what is to come, and then I guess go back to Thailand also and do a nice show back home.
Absolutely, absolutely. Neat. So tell us about Rise. I guess you said it's coming out tomorrow.
No, my second single, My Man, is coming out tomorrow. Rise is out already on all platforms.
Right, right.
Yes.
Tell us about Rise. Means I like the name. It has that Rise means a lot of things to a lot of people. But why did you call it Rise? What does Rise mean to you? How should people understand it? Where they can listen to this?
Yes. So rise comes from a place like when I was telling you earlier about going through life here, my identity being erased, and somebody writing a narrative for you, right? So you lose yourself. And then how do you find yourself? I had to rise above. For example, in the chorus, rise above the pain and the lies. You have to come above that stuff to find your strength, because otherwise you drown in it, right? You feel like you're drowning. Excuse me. You feel like you're drowning when you're going through stuff like that. So I felt like I had to rise above all that. That after all of that, that happened to me, that I rose above it, that my strength, my resilience rose above like somebody else's narrative, or rose above the pain, rose above the lies, rose above anything else that was holding me down. So that's where rise came from. And that's where I want people to hear it. That, and if you hear in the first verse also, I actually tell the story of where I come from, right? Like, left behind the comfort, left behind the rules, chased a dream they never taught in schools. So, right, I come from a good Indian family with a lot of rules to come to a place, pursuing music. They never taught us that in school, to be a dreamer. We were only taught to be doctors and lawyers and proper Indian girls. So, like every line in that song means something to me. It came from somewhere. And the meaning, when you hear it, I want people to feel the energy that you're able to rise above no matter what obstacle comes your way, because you're stronger than that. You're stronger than people make you think you are, all you need to do is recognize yourself, and yeah, I think that song should, I hope it empowers as many people like it empowers me, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking of empowering, being an independent artist is not a easy thing. At any point in time, you need to take care of everything and also make sure that you are earning enough from that. And as an individual, people go to music for solace whenever they are facing any challenges in life. You also must be getting a lot of solace. But what do you do when you face challenges with music as a career? Where do you go and find solace? Where do you go and find help from? Tell us about your challenges as an independent uh, artist, and how do you deal with that?
So, artist or no artist, life happens, right? Life goes on. I still live my normal life. I still, have to go through with that. But at the same time, like, I feel like it's okay because now I feel like I'm able to express myself and do what I want. So living life and doing the day to day doesn't seem so bad like it used to before, when I wasn't able to do what I love, which is my music, and being able to use my voice for the good. So I feel like that's where I am at right now, like that connecting the two, it makes me feel, that is worth it.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
what is it that you seek for yourself now, Neet? Now you have seen the world a bit, experienced it a bit, and understand yourself and found some stability in that sense, in terms of identity a bit. Help us
Yeah.
understand from that. What is it that you seek for yourself now?
What I seek for myself in terms of the future, well, I definitely, like I said, I'm very focused on trying to do some good, especially because I've been through quite a bit, and I wish that I could, I wish somebody had helped me, right? So I definitely in the future see myself going down the track of being an advocate and doing stuff, towards foundations and charities, and finishing my album, and then continuing to maybe travel the world to speak up about certain issues that need addressing, in that time in the world, what is going on in the current world. So yeah, in the future, I just see myself being more involved with the current situations of the world and helping out, and yeah, using my voice for empowerment.
Absolutely, absolutely. Using your voice for empowering others. There is so much to learn about life, about music, about challenges, about identity, about resilience, and much more. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about you, your music, and also about your new album. What's the best way for them to do so?
So my music is out on all platforms. I have my YouTube is Neat Music. I have my Instagram, my Facebook, all under Neat Music, KNEET Music. And with that, you can keep up with all my new singles, videos, interviews, and yeah, all the songs will be out on all platforms and ready for you to hear.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much, Sashika.